Hey, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through a step-by-step demonstration of how to draw a sign with notches in one-point perspective, just like the image that you're seeing right now. This drawing is done in real time and is designed for you to be able to follow along and keep up with me without any problems. Of course, if you need to pause and rewind, that is totally okay. To work with me on this drawing, you'll need four things. First, a piece of paper that is 9 by 12 size. Second, a pencil. Third, a ruler, preferably one that is 12 inches long. And fourth, an eraser. So, if you have those four things, you're all set and ready to go. Let's discover the rules and power of perspective and draw a sign with notches together. Okay, let's give you a list of measurements that you're going to need. So let me put these up here. Don't measure them quite yet. Let's go half, 5.5, and 11.5. Okay, and if you'll start those for me right here, upper left-hand corner, and go for me carefully, if you will, down the side. Okay, so with my ruler positioned like this, the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to put a mark at 1/2 inch, 5.5, and 11.5. Then I'll move my ruler. Okay. And if you can do the same thing to the right side. Now, when I do it, I like to leave a little strip of paper sticking out to the right of my ruler when I make these marks here. So I'll go 1/2 inch, 5.5, and 11.5. Okay, now go ahead and connect those for me, left to right, but please do them as light as you can. Okay, so here's my 1/2 inch marks, lined up carefully like this. And I'm going to draw from left to right. Once again, nice and light. Okay, 5.5 inch marks. Let's work on that, left to right. Once again, very light. And my 11.5 inch marks. Okay, there we go. Now, the next list I want to give you, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these so we're not confused here. Next one, let's use, let's see. Let's use 1/2 and also 6.5. Okay, this time I want you to start here, upper left-hand corner, and let's go across the top. Okay, so I'll go like this, leaving just a little strip of paper above my ruler, and I'm going to make a 1/2 inch mark right there. Don't move your ruler. And then I'm going to make a 6.5 inch mark right there, like that. Then I'm going to do the same thing across the bottom. So I'll go 1/2 inch right there, and 6.5 right there. Okay, now line up, if you please will, your 1/2 inch marks, but don't connect them together. So with my marks lined up like this, I want you to draw me a vertical line, but just draw it right here. Now, I know it's hard to see when I draw the line next to my ruler, so let me move that ruler for you so you can see where it is right there. Okay, 6.5 inch marks. I'm going to line those up as well, and I want to do exactly the same thing, putting a vertical line right here like that. Okay. Now, go ahead and locate your eraser, and let's do a little erasing here. Now, over here on the right side, I'm going to take off this slightly longer length of horizontal line right here. Notice how I'm holding my paper down so it doesn't tear or wrinkle on me. And I'm going to do that also down here in this lower right area as well. I'm going to erase that also. Okay, coming over here to the left, I've got a short section right here that I'm erasing. And down here in the lower left, a short one also. Okay, excellent. Now, before I get too far along, I want to check the size of this square that I made right here. I just want to make sure my measurement is 6 inches wide. Good. And it's also 6 inches tall. So it's 6 by 6. All right. Now, this line up here at the top, as you would assume, that's your eye level. Let's go ahead and label that. So over here in this upper left-hand corner, I'm going to print the two words eye level, E-Y-E, L-E-V-E-L. Okay, once again, that's going to be the height of our eyes. Okay, let's make another measurement. Write this one down for you. Let's go ahead and use a measurement slightly more difficult, 1/4 of an inch. Now, if you're not sure where 1/4 is, it's like half of a half. So let me magnify my ruler real quick here, and we'll give you a quick demonstration. Okay, so if you're looking at your ruler, this is 0, this is 1, this is half an inch right there. I'll put a little mark on the 1/4 mark. It's right there. Okay, so that is 1/4 of an inch. It's a pretty small measurement. Okay, and I want you to measure it right here. At the edge of this line, I want you to measure across to the left exactly 1/4. And so I'll just go like this. Please make sure this is accurate and put a little dot on the line 1/4 of an inch in from the edge of your paper. Little dot right there. And then label that dot with the initials VP for vanishing point. Okay. Now let's work on this square here. Now within this square, I want you to draw me a super light grid similar to the one we did when we did our stairs. Okay, so let me give you those easy measurements. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so let's measure those. I'm going to go ahead and start right here in the corner of my square, right here. I'm going to go across the top with those measurements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, same thing across the bottom. My square is exactly 6 inches wide, so this will work out for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then super lightly, please, go ahead and connect your marks. Now these lines we're drawing, they're going to be kind of temporary, so you want to draw as light as you can. 1 inch marks, connected. 2 inch marks, connected. 3 inch marks, connected. 4 inches. And my 5 inch marks also. Okay, there we go. Then if you could use the same measurements down the side, of course, since we're making a grid of squares. Okay, so my square is 6 inches tall. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, same thing on this side.
6 inches tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and of course, super light, you can connect them. So, lining up my 1-inch marks like this, I'll draw across my square, keeping my lines nice and light. Two-inch marks connected. Three-inch marks connected. Four. And 5. All right, very good. So as you can see there, we've got this nice grid of squares within which we're going to draw the two-dimensional shape of a sign with notches. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on that. I'm going to get rid of these measurements since I'm kind of done with those. Now, the sign is going to be an arrow type sign. So one side of it's going to be pointed. That's what I want to draw first. So what I'm going to do is get my pencil here, my ruler, and I'm going to draw a slanted line that's going to go from here, this corner of this square, down to this corner of this one, kind of a slanted one. Now if you're confused, just take a look up here, and I'm going to go ahead and draw this. So from one corner to this corner, draw a slanted line like that. Now notice how this slanted line here crosses 3 of my squares. Okay, so make sure you're getting that in the right location. Okay, notice that carefully, don't mess it up. And then I'm going to go from this same place right here down to this corner right here with a nice slanted line. And this will give me the pointed side of my arrow sign. Okay, and once again, this line here, it crossed 3 grid squares, as you can see. Okay, time for your eraser. So what I want to do is I want to erase to the left of that slanted line. So I'm going to take off this area right here. Hopefully you've been drawing nice and light. It makes it very easy and quick to erase. Okay, so see how I've erased to the left of this one, and then the same thing down here. Erasing. It's a great habit to get into, always drawing nice and light. Okay, so now you're noticing that one side is now pointed. Okay, very good. Now, keep out your eraser. We're going to keep erasing here. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to take off the top row of these squares, except for this small little triangle right here. We want to leave that visible. Okay, so with my eraser, I'm going to take off my top row of squares, except for that skinny triangle. Always important in perspective to draw as light as possible. Okay, so notice my top row then, it's all erased except for that one triangle right there. Okay, now my bottom row. The bottom row of squares, I want to do almost the same thing, but this square right here, which I'm indicating, this one right here, I do not want to erase that one. So if that's confusing, just watch me do it. So I'm going to take off this area here, like this, and this area here, like this. So my bottom row will look a little different than the top one because I've got that same thin triangle still visible, but also I have this square here also visible, and this is kind of like the stand for my sign. So we can kind of see the shape of the sign that we're working with. Now, we want to make it just a little more interesting, and we want to cut some notches into our sign. So I'm going to take my pencil, you don't need to make these marks, but I'm going to draw a slash mark, and you can draw it if you need to, through this line right here, and through this one right here. If you need to make those marks, go ahead. And my slash mark means that I'm going to erase these two sections right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to take off this section like this. So that gives me a notch that is 2 squares deep. Okay, now pay attention. We're going to do another notch, but it's going to be deeper. So I'm going to put a slash mark here, and here, and here as well. And let's take off those 3 sections. So here I go like this, erasing, and erasing again. Okay, 3 squares deep. Alright, now this is the shape we want to work with, but having all these grid lines inside this shape, it makes it confusing and more difficult to understand. So I'm going to take a couple minutes with my eraser. I'm going to get rid of all my grid lines, so I'm just left over with the outside edge, this outside edge of my shape. So that'll take me a couple minutes, as it will for you. So get out your eraser, hopefully you drew light, and let's do a little erasing here. So once again, I just want the outside edge. I want to erase all the grid lines that are inside my shape. You know, that's a skill that I think Art 1 students need to develop. And it really doesn't matter what type of drawing you're doing. You know, simple shapes or still life or perspective. You know, it's always a great idea to draw as light as you can. And especially in perspective, that's important. Often have some lines that are temporary that you want to get rid of. And so developing that light touch is a great skill for a young artist to develop. Okay, so it's taking me a moment to do this, and hopefully we're staying together on it, we're not losing each other as we're erasing here. Now sometimes when I erase maybe a little too much, and if you erase a little too much, you know, make sure you kind of fix your line, but use your ruler when you do that. Try not to freehand it. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now I did end up losing a little bit of the line right here, so I'm just going to replace that real quick, and notice me using my ruler right there. Okay, so this then is the two-dimensional shape that we want to work with, and of course our next step is to make it three-dimensional. Now, our next step is to make it 3D, and we want to use our vanishing point. So, let me point out the locations that we're going to use. We're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And each one of those points, we're going to draw it towards that vanishing point dot super light. Okay, and that is a rule of perspective that we can't break. So let's start right here in this very pointed tip of that triangle, and let's line that up with our vanishing point like this, and super lightly let's draw towards our vanishing point. And please don't make those lines dark. Okay, so that's line number 1. Okay, here's location number 2. Draw towards that vanishing point. Okay, here's location number 3. Okay, now number 4, it's down here inside this notch. Now watch what I do. I'm going to line it up with my vanishing point. However, I'm just going to draw from that corner until it hits the other side of the notch right there. Then I'm going to stop, and I'm not going to go any further than that. That will just make me work too hard. Okay, now I'm up here. Same thing, vanishing point. Okay, continuing. I'm going to drop down inside my notch right here to this corner. Same rule. Line it up with your vanishing point. I'm going to draw until I hit the other side of the notch right there. I'm going to stop. I'm going to continue up here. Okay, still continuing right here at this corner. And you can see all my lines coming together at that dot. And that's a rule of perspective that we need to follow. Okay, continuing. Now you can't forget down here at this corner. Okay, so this is where I am right now. Vanishing point. Okay, now I'm going to take a look down here at my little stand, this corner right here. I'm going to line that up with my ruler, and I'm just going to draw only until I hit the bottom of my sign right there. Then I'm going to stop, so that one's very short, as you can see down here. Okay, there's one more. This one also. Now I'm well aware that a 12-inch ruler, it doesn't reach from here to your vanishing point. I know that already. So we're just going to eyeball it. So all I'm going to do is put that ruler right on the tip there, and then I'm just going to move my ruler until I hit another one. Oh, I just kind of eyeball that, kind of like it's down a gun barrel maybe, about like that. Looks like it's going, my ruler's going towards my vanishing point. Think about right there. And then I'm going to draw just a short line right there, as you can see. Okay, so notice all those lines going to your vanishing point. Sometimes it's a good idea to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Got to make sure you've got 12. Take a look at your ruler. And what I need you to do is to find that same small measurement we used a few minutes ago, 1/4 of an inch. Now I'm going to magnify this even bigger and demonstrate that again. I don't want you to have the wrong measurement. Okay, so I'm looking at my ruler, and this is my 1/4 right there. Now pay close attention. From this corner of my sign right here, I want you to measure straight out to the right, exactly 1/4 of an inch, and put a dot there. So if you're confused, watch me work here. Okay, so at the edge of my ruler lined up, that corner, and I'm going straight out to the right, 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to put a little dot right there. Small little dot. Okay. Then I'm going to come right here to this corner of my sign. I'm going to do the same thing. Go straight out to the right. Exactly 1/4 of an inch. Putting a dot right there. Okay, line those up with your ruler now. Don't connect the dots, but instead I want you to draw me one vertical line that goes in between these two vanishing point lines like that. I'm going to move my ruler. See where it is. Okay? And this gives me the side of my sign. Okay, take out your eraser. Let's erase this extra length of vanishing point line. Let's get rid of that carefully. Hold your paper down so you don't wrinkle it. Okay, that's looking good. So then right here we can see the front of our sign, then here we see the side of it. Okay, now this next step is very important. I need you to find right here this sharp corner that you made where those two lines came together right there. And I need you to put your ruler on top of that corner so it's straight across, horizontal. So like this. So I put my ruler like this, straight across, horizontal. Now I take a minute to look at my ruler to see if indeed I have it straight across. Okay. Now, when I have it straight across right there, I need you to draw 3 horizontal lines. Okay, now I'll draw them, then I'll move my ruler so you can see where they are. Okay, number 1 goes here, 2, and 3. I'll move my ruler and you can see where they are. Okay, 3 horizontal lines. Okay, very good. Now once you have those 3 lines put in, grab your eraser again and let's erase 5 extra sections of vanishing point line. It'll take me a minute. We can catch up to each other, not be confused. Two more right here, ever so carefully. Okay, and you can see now that those 3 lines right here, they form the top of our sign. Okay. Let's continue. Now, the next line that I want to draw is right here. Let me show this to you, where these 2 lines come together right here, forming a corner right there. There, put your ruler on that corner so it's straight up and down, vertical, like this. Now, looking carefully at my ruler to make sure it's vertical. I'm going to draw straight up a vertical line stopping right there. Okay, good. Then let's erase again. That's making my sign look very 3-dimensional. Okay. Now, we're coming down the home stretch. The next thing I need to do is I need to work inside this notch. Now look right here for me at this corner where these 2 lines come together right here, forming a sharp corner. This is what I'm looking at. And I want to put my ruler on that, straight up and down, vertical, like this. Taking a careful look again, patiently adjusting my ruler until I think it's nice and vertical, right there. Then I'm going to draw straight down until I hit that vanishing point line right there. I'm going to stop. See that? Grabbing your eraser, you should have a short section of vanishing point line right here that you need to erase. Okay, now you're looking here for me. Where these two lines come together right here, forming a corner, put your ruler on that, straight across, horizontal. You can draw for me a super short line to the right, stopping right there. And this notch is finished. Okay. Same thing with this one over here. I'm looking at this corner right here, putting my ruler on it, vertically, drawing straight down, stopping right there, taking a minute to erase section of vanishing point line. Last line of the day, right here, this corner where these two lines come together, straight across, horizontal. Be patient as you do that, nice and straight across, to the right, stopping right there. Okay, there it is. Sign with notches in 1-point perspective.
So, there you go. How did yours turn out? Do you see how you're like a magician with a pencil? Your paper is flat, but it looks like the sign with notches is occupying space, like it's real and three-dimensional. The sign with notches has height, width, and most importantly, depth. That is the power of perspective. Thanks again for watching and drawing. I hope you had a good time and that you learned something. I hope to see you again someday back on my channel. Have a great day, and don't forget to keep on drawing.